Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I am your host, Lauren, and today's episode I have Taylor. She is a returning guest. So happy to have her back here. She is am I going to say this wrong? Correct me if I'm going to say it wrong.
Okay.
The Spiritual Ratchet Guide. And she needs
Spiritual.
spiritual.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before we recorded that she needs to trademark that so nobody takes it.
Like if you can take it, it's welcome. But it definitely it feels so much more aligned than when I was trying to figure out what kind of coach I was or healer and all this stuff. And I'm just like, this one just came through as a download and I've been rocking with it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, welcome back. We're so happy to have you back here. So tell us a little bit about from the last time that we recorded until now. Like what kind of has shifted in your world? What new perspectives you have? What's new with you?
Well, I don't even remember. I feel like time, well, we know time's not real, so I won't even go down that soapbox, but it feels like it's been lifetimes because I am a completely different human and embodying in a completely different timeline and experience than I was before. Still very much like doing all of my things, but I have since started actually facilitating breathwork in person here at a local studio in Southern California. And I've started training people because I have been a Reiki master. And finally, a group of women were like, "Can you train us?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, let's do that." So I've started offering Reiki training in addition to just offering Reiki services. Theta healing is still a very big part of my life. I've continued to go deeper into Oracle and Tarot, but the interesting thing that has come out, which is kind of where I was a little surprised, is this OBM type of work that I have gotten myself into. And for those that didn't listen to the first episode, I have been a nurse for, I don't know, 15, 16 years, and I work in healthcare management. So I'm very familiar with like running operations, and I did not realize that that was going to be a gift or something that other people really struggle with, and something that people need. When I'm like, "Oh, do you have SOPs?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, you need me." So these things are like super helpful, especially for new business owners, but even for established business owners. So I've actually been working with people in person here, which is really cool. I feel like I live in this mecca of entrepreneurship in Southern California, which you kind of have to like maintain living here, but that's a whole other conversation. So I think that's been like a new offering that I did not have. I think I was really focused on my signature healing and transformation stuff, but also when you have me as your OBM, you still have access. I also am an astrologer, so like you have this OBM forefront, like very Virgo, sun, organized person, but I can also sense when your energy is off, and I can also work with you intuitively when you're planning out your next retreat or your next event. So it's been really growing and it's a lot of fun.
Love that. So tell the listeners what this OBM is. Like, so the people that don't know what it is. I mean, obviously I do, but
Yes.
well,
Yes.
like
It's so
I know
weird when
it's
I
like,
talk about it.
yeah.
Because OBM, and then I'm like, "Oh, I work with people in person." And you're like, "Wait, so OBM actually stands for Online Business Manager." But pretty much all business has some type of digital footprint, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, even if it's just their website and a Yelp or a Google page, whatever. Like this, so even the people that I work with in person that are like physically in this area, they need things to go out to their email list. They need text messages to go out. It's very identical problems of like, well, people don't know who you are and what you do unless you tell them and unless you stay top of mind. So, an online business manager in the capacity that I've been working, I have started my first client was somebody who's been in business for a very long time. So I came in and cleaned everything up and I was like, where's your stuff? So got everything cleaned up, and now we have systems in place where it's really copy paste. It doesn't take me as long to get her stuff queued up because now we have this foundation that we like. I also incorporate AI, so I hopped really Aquarius rising. So I hopped into AI when it was first getting popular and took some Chat GPT engineering courses. So AI has been working in the background with me for the duration that it's been out. So yeah, it can look like, organization. It can look like bringing, I just launched someone who's an embodiment coach. So she's having in-person events, getting her online presence, everything set up. And now that like we're done, she has all these templates that she can rinse, wash, and repeat, and everything is there. So I make your business run in the background so that you can make money while you sleep because you're visible and people can click the link and purchase, and we make sure you get paid. We're not straggling running around for people like, oh, you didn't pay and you're coming. Like we're sending out those reminders, we're sending out all these things. So I put a lot of automation in place. I have learned how to build funnels. um, there's not much that I haven't done yet. And because I'm like the type of person that I am, I always enjoy learning. So when somebody comes to me, I'm like, ooh, that's not my zone of genius. So the one of my clients is wanting like to do some brand refresh. And I'm like, I can help. I can get in here and Canva and like mess around, but like that's not I'm not good at it. Like I'm decent, but I wouldn't sell somebody my branding services. But I'm just like, but I do because I work in the online space too. I'm like, I know somebody who like this is what she does and she's fire. So like, let me reach out to her on your behalf and set this up because I'm also a 2-4 in human design, which is more of your jam. So I use that 4 line and it just, again, it's a download. It comes through. I'm really good at connecting people and kind of, I don't know, intuitively guiding what is going to come out of it. So it's like when you hire me, you get so much more than you signed on for, basically. But I'm also, like I can be reined in. If you're like, Taylor, I don't need you for that. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah.
Because absolutely, like my ideas get going, and I've had people be like, not, I just want to focus on this. And I'm like, totally fair. Because like sometimes we need to like boundary each other, which is totally fair. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of different things, but I do it in person and online.
Yeah. Love that. And I was going to say, and people that are listening, she is a generator. So a projector that's listening, please don't get overwhelmed.
No.
But I was going to say, in my mind, I'm thinking, God, if I had you when I first started, like systems and like being shown this, and like I'm sure you teach it, too, like this is what we're gonna do and all that stuff. I feel like God, my life would be so much easier. I mean, now I have my own systems, but it's like like your life would be so much easier. Like, because you have to have a system. So when you ask people, I know this is probably what you get a lot. When you ask people, well, what's your system? They're probably like, what is that? What are you talking about? Well, I
Yeah.
post today on social media, and it's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Like, okay, so when you post, and that's kind of how the conversation goes. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
cool. So when you post on social media, what
right,
does the person know to do next? Did you make it a clear next step? The first thing I have people set up is like name your business, set up a Gmail, like a .com or .org, whatever they're gonna do. Set that
right,
up so you appear as a business, and then set up a Stripe. Like, let's make sure people have a way to communicate with you and get you paid. And if I could do things over, I would not have done a website in my first year. I keep it because I have it, and like it's no point in getting rid of it. But there are so many things and so many courses out there that put people in this box of you need to do all these things to be a legitimate business, and I'm all for messy action. I had to work really, really hard to be able to take messy action because of my astrology and my human design. And now that I can do it, I have a balance with it. And the work I offer is like done with you. Like I'm going to do and set stuff up because I have my own templates that, especially for spiritual entrepreneurs, they work really well. But we go in, we can customize it. And whatever you want to learn to carry this forward, because you may not want to hire me for forever, which is also totally okay. I want
right.
you to go forth and prosper and not be like, oh, the same with my healing program, right? Like I want you to be able to go forth and prosper and not be like, well, life is great when I'm working with Taylor, and as soon as I'm not, like, oh my God, I don't want to cripple people to like need me. I want you, yes, I want to, I love the work, I love the engagement, but like there's going to be somebody else coming along that's like, oh, I have this idea. So my next client, I'm actually going to be helping her launch a pet nutrition business. I don't own pets currently, and I loved her idea, and we were connecting, and she's also like lives locally. And I was like, "Oh, you just need to do some reels and like show people what you're doing." And I'm like, "I just left this meeting and there was like 15 dogs there and like go to dog parks and blah blah blah." And she's like, "Oh my God, Taylor, you just made this sound like so much more attainable." And I was like, "We can launch this in like 30 days. Like this is not like so even that practical and spiritual parts of me, which is where the spiritual comes from, just
Yeah.
bringing it into like real tangible, this is what I need you to do. Sometimes people literally just need that part where they are so overwhelmed and so in the ideas that they need to actually pull out, here's the 3 to 5 things that I need you to do in the next 10 days. That's it. Don't worry about anything else.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that for you too, because I'm like, when people come to, when people come to me and be like, can you just teach me my human design? I'm like, here's the thing. I can teach you all day about your human design, but you could go Google it. You could go, I was like, but I help you embody it. So it's like you have to know like where you are, right? And then embodying it is more of like, I'm just reminding you of who you are. Like, I'm not going to teach you anything different than you already know. And I think that's kind of where, and when you speak about your programs and you speak about, I'm going to just show you and help you and guide you, that's kind of where I've noticed probably the last year that when throughout like just looking at people's content and how people are like, I'm struggling with this, I can't do this. Can you speak about how important your messaging behind what you're actually doing, like the content? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, I can't get sales, or I can't get this, or I can't get that. And I mean,
Well, we know what our spiritual biz witch coach would say, that if you're not attracting through if you're not attracting and repelling through your content, your messaging sucks.
right.
And I struggled with messaging for forever because I'm like, I don't know how to describe. I hated the I help statement. I will not even talk about how much money that I did not have that I invested in my business to this person is going to be the one. I like her stuff. I like, I like what she's embodying. I like what she's doing. So I want to do that. And if she can do it, I can do it too. If your message doesn't feel true to you and your soul, I don't care if that coach cost you $500 or $500,000, you're not going to be able to sell it because your coach isn't, that program isn't going to be on those calls with you. They're not going to be in those DMs with you. So I would say like getting your messaging together, yes, but like also when you're paying somebody for a service, don't be afraid to say, hey, I see where you're going with this, but I don't think that's it yet. I like this, but it's not, I like this part, but not that. Just because you haven't made the money or the impact that they have made yet doesn't mean that your opinion and how you're feeling doesn't matter because you didn't pay somebody to make you their mini me robot. Or maybe you did, and like then you're, probably not our people because we generally have like similar types of audiences.
Yeah.
But really just being able to step into your messaging so that it flows and it feels good because the people that I've been attracting have literally been from referrals and conversations or people booking a call with me of like, hey, I want to learn more about what you do. So even though like I'm still a work in progress with my exact like I help statement and all of that because of what the work that I'm doing, I'm showing up boldly and consistently enough in myself that I don't feel caught off guard when somebody DMs me. They're like, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I do a lot of things. What are you interested in? And let's talk about that." Um, so there is a way to market successfully and be multi-passionate and deliver like I'm doing opposite ends. Most OBMs aren't also astrologers and Reiki masters, like, but just because it doesn't exist already and you don't have somebody to copy, like maybe you are the one that other people are going to copy and just being okay with that.
Right. And I love that you say about the copy part because it's like when I see some people take it as being like copying to be like bad, right? But I think it's not. Like it's more of like that person inspired you to do same thing with our mentor. Like she inspires me to do different things. She's taught me she's taught me how to message. Didn't even know what the hell, like didn't even have an I statement. I thought I did, but it didn't work. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it didn't work. And it's just like now I can legit put out a post and think, oh, I'm not just going to put this post out and hope for the best kind of thing. But people will react to it. Most of the time, they don't react on the actual content. They message me. They'll message
Mm-hmm.
me. It's more of like my whole strategy too. And everybody's strategy is different. No matter like what human design you are, whatever strategy you have, like lead gen never works for me. So it's like people reach out to me. I post what I need to post, and then people reach out to me. I don't necessarily have to read unless I'm following up with them, like of course. But it's like I think people get a little bit confused with lead gen. They're like, oh, I have to send 50, 100 messages. I'm like, don't do that. Do not
Not at
do.
all.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's like you have to if embody, like you said, embody it, and then know exactly what what your message is. But half the time, people just don't know what their message is because they haven't got through the trauma or they
And
haven't.
I have absolutely like hired somebody that we're all works in progress. Like I think the biggest red flag in our industries is the people that are convinced in themselves and therefore convincing their audience that they have it all figured out. I have absolutely reached out to people and been like, yo, I don't really know what you do, but you're a vibe and I want to be connected to you. I don't know what that means yet. I don't want to waste your time and book a call because I'm not really clear on what you do. But like, I feel even on the internet, a connection and I want to keep you. And maybe I put that person in my favorites and maybe I put them in my close friends or I mark them so I see their posts and eventually I hire them or I don't hire them, but I'm like, oh, you would be really cool. And just like I was given that example of connecting one of my clients to somebody else that I've worked with that is a graphic designer. I don't know, I don't necessarily need to know what the reason is in that moment, but I might be in a conversation or doing a podcast and we're talking about something and I'm like, ooh, I know somebody that would be perfect for this. And because I'm also like a genuine person and I don't view people, even if they've made way more money in their business than me, as competition. I I tend to be a referral source and I found out through learning about my human design that is like what my four line does. So I might not be your ideal client, but there's a very good chance that somebody in my audience that might be reaching out to me is. I'm not going to try to sell but somebody something that I'm not, it's not my zone of genius. It's not something I care about, but I will absolutely like, I don't want people to leave empty-handed either, but that doesn't mean that I close that sale either, if that makes sense. Like I might be closing, helping move the sales process along for somebody else of no, I'm not an affiliate. I am an affiliate for some people, but not for a whole bunch of people. Um, but yeah, just being able to like be honest about like this is actually what I do and this is not something I do. I think that's super cool. But hey, let me warm intro you to this person if you're interested and let that be that.
Yeah. No, I do love that. I just do the same exact thing because it's like, nope, I do not do anything. I do my own Canvas stuff. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, does that bring me joy? No, it does not. No,
Hmm.
it does not. But I do know somebody that does do that. And it's like, I do the same thing because it's just like I don't do everything. Like I know my zone of genius and I know what I can help with and I know what I can't help with. And it's like, but I'm sure have a whole list of people that can help you that if it resonates, it resonates. So yeah,
And
no.
I'm sure it lights somebody up to build funnels. It does not light me up. I can do it, but like these are the things that, especially when you're just starting out in business, like I have a very long list of things that I will outsource when I'm able to just be like, I don't actually ever want to be bothered with that ever again. And it feeds the whole ecosystem because there are people that live and love Canva and Illustrator. Like that is their passion. And like very much like you, I can manage, I can get by. I don't
Yeah.
I don't love it. I would rather do this and have somebody creating graphics for me that I've already hired that knows what my vision is and like I'm blown away when I see the results. Like it's so yeah, it just feeds the ecosystem. Like I don't need to try to have a monopoly on every aspect of running the business. But when you're starting out and you can't afford to hire somebody for 5 or 10 grand to build your website, like that's how I learned how to build a website, because I had to figure it out on my own if I wanted this thing to go. So definitely a lot of guidance and support, but that's where I learned how to take messy action. Like I've never built a freaking website. Like I am a nurse. That is not in my that's not in my wheelhouse.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Now, do I want to build websites for people? Absolutely not. But most people don't even need the website yet. And I'm like, no, let's get you started with the free version of Linktree. And like let's do this stuff for free, and like let's get you making some money, and then you go use the money that you made in your business to buy all the fancy stuff. Like you do not have to put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, I love that you say all of that because that's literally my entire journey. When I first started, I had somebody like I had a decent amount to invest in my business. Did I invest it into things that I thought I needed? Yeah, sure. Did I invest it into a website that was $5,000? That do I have the website anymore? No, I have the domain and I know how to do all of the things that you just said. Do I do it ever? No. It's like, do I want to do it? Well, no, I don't. I mean, I could tell you how to do it, but I'm not doing it. Like,
Exactly.
and it's like now I have a link tree and that's like what I use. I mean, obviously, I do bill funnels and it's like I do like doing that. But do I, but I feel like when you talk about that stuff, it's like I think back to like a year ago, 2 years ago, if I actually just outsource that, especially being a projector in human design, knowing my energy type, knowing that I don't have the energy to do all this, it's like it can create so much less tension, the resistance that you feel in your business, it would actually make more money. You would be making more money. You have more time to actually do like what you actually love. And it's like just looking back at it now, like reflecting, I'm like, damn, I guess I had to learn that to get where I am today, but damn, I could have.
Hey there, I just wanted to take a quick moment to share with all of you spiritual rebels and fempreneurs. If you've been craving a space where you can build wealth, heal trauma, and rise alongside like-minded women, I got something for you to hear about. I'm excited to invite you into the Enlightened Misfits Sisterhood. This is a low-cost, high-impact group membership designed exclusively for spiritual fempreneurs who know they need accountability and support to create sustainable wealth, but aren't ready to dive into a one-on-one mentorship. In this membership, you'll get monthly calls, rituals, healing sessions, and workshops to break through your self-doubt and build confidence so that you can consistently sell your offers and make money. This is also a collaborative private Facebook community where you make lifelong connections with other women who are just as serious as hitting their goals. And my personal guidance as your intuitive human design business guide and trauma healer, ensuring you stay aligned and on track with your business goals. Plus, you'll get free access to all my paid workshops and masterclasses, along with exclusive VIP pricing for my one-on-one Voxer membership. This membership is all about helping you heal the sabotaging behaviors blocking your abundance and using your human design to create a business that feels amazing to run. Imagine waking up excited to serve your clients and knowing that you have the exact support you need to hit every single one of your business goals every single month. So if you're ready to rise and build wealth with a sisterhood of spiritual misfits, make sure you click the registration link in the description box. Right now, the investment is just $88 a month, but the price will increase to $197 a month. Join today to unlock exclusive rates and get access to next month's kickoff call. Let's get back to today's episode, but remember, your next level is just one decision away. Join the sisterhood and let's rise together.
Today, but damn, I could have.
It gets to be a part of our, and I
Yeah,
think I mean, we've talked about this before, like it gets to be a part of our experience that we share with the next person coming behind us, because
right,
somebody somewhere in the world right now, I don't even know the statistic numbers on it, but somebody's getting an idea and getting that feeling of like, I am going to change the world and I want to start a business. And
right.
there's going to always, continue to be that. And if we can, and that's what I've been sharing with the people that are new, that are local, that are like, I want to do this thing. So like, even for people that it doesn't even have to be the same niche. Somebody wants to get into business, like the experiences that we had can absolutely help save them, some type of stress and frustration of like they might still go and build the $5,000 website and then learn on their own. And like, that's just a part of their journey. Like, we can't, I don't want to say save everybody, but like other people, whether even if it's the same niche or not, like we get to share that experience and be like, actually, have you thought about this? And there's so many different things that people don't even know that exist that we have found as entrepreneurs because we are really smart and creative and resourceful that it helps where it helps. And even if they don't take everything that you said, they take something from that conversation and they feel more encouraged to know that like, okay, I'm actually going to do this thing. Like, this is really scary and really crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then they, meet us down the line and they're like, oh my gosh, I remember this resource you told me about. And you get to just see the whole system keep growing. It's really cool.
Yeah. And speaking about that, so recently I've been going back through stuff of like that I kind of just like self-taught myself. And like when people ask me about human design, they're like, oh, like, are you certified? I'm like, nope. And I never claimed to be, because I just feel like I've self-taught myself human design the last, oh God, it's 9 years now. And it's like implementing it into my actual business has been, I guess it's been 3 years, 4 years, but I've been in my experiment probably the last 7, 8 maybe ish years. So when people tell me, oh yeah, it's like 2 years in my experiment or whatever, or 3 years, I'm like, you got to keep going. Like, you're comparing your life to my life, and I'm like 7 years in my experiment, like human design. So it's like I understand it to a deeper level, DNA and all that stuff. When I kind of like was like, oh, I need to go on to kind of dive into like my business. And like you said, I was in the medical field. I was a high risk OB ultrasound tech. So like for me to completely shift into, I just want to have my own business, spiritual entrepreneur, it was like I didn't know what the hell. I just knew it didn't align with me anymore, and I needed to figure out a different path. I mean, it was more of like my higher self pushing me, like, you're going this way now. This is what we're doing. And then I never really understood why I was so obsessed with human design, but it was because to a DNA, the cellular level, science was always something that I loved. Astrology was always something that I loved because I understood it. I was like, gosh, this is my zone of genius, to help people understand their own energy. Like, that's literally why I was decided, I was a Reiki master, but I don't do Reiki the way that everybody else does. So I went back and did, very similar to you, the theta healing. And then I was like, oh, then I went and took another course and did theta Reiki master. So it was like, I liked the brain, the psychology. It's like, I know how powerful it is. I know how powerful the healing is. I'm just the one that's facilitating it. I'm not the one that's healing you. Like, that's just, so I was like, wow. And people don't know what theta is either. So because you do theta healing too, can you explain to the listeners what that is?
Yeah, for sure. I resonate with all of that. Obviously, like science is when I can see the correlation between the two, and I think that's how I also fell in love with astrology. And astrology and human design are like very similar, but also very, very different. So when I felt myself at the crossroads of I couldn't study both, I was just like, all right, like astrology it is. So I know like a little, I say very surface level human design. Like I would not try to read, I could not read my own human design chart, let alone someone else's. But yeah, so anyway, that was just like I was just like vibing with all of that. Like, yes, science, science, science. I love it. But theta healing is a newer modality. So very science-based, created by Viana Stabal. She's actually still alive, which I think is really cool. You should follow her on Instagram because she gives daily downloads every single day. But it is a meditation method where like you or I as theta healing practitioners are able to connect to source on that person's behalf, of course, with their permission. I think I do love the way that permission is taught throughout theta healing of like every single question or step that you're going through, you're asking the person to verbally respond. Like, and say yes, that they want to receive this information and give consent over and over. So for me, I really love that part of it. But I think theta healing is so incredibly powerful because of the digging for the bottom beliefs, the the patterns and the DNA, like your birth chart, your human design chart, what you were born with, that fixed energy is not just yes, it's yours, but it's not. And that sounds so like counterintuitive to say, but like there's so much generational stuff that you have brought into this life with you for whatever reason when you were up in the cosmos making your soul contract to come here and do things. There's so much that you just wouldn't have access to. And I love the finite part of theta healing where you can say, do you want to have this program removed? Once we see what program is there, just like we were talking before we started recording, like once you know, like, oh, that program, and oh, this came from my great 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 grandmother on this side from 100 years ago. Yeah, I want to remove that. We take that out, we replace it with whatever guidance we're being given from source, creator, God, universe, whatever you feel comfortable calling this existence, and really changing things from, again, like from that cellular level. So it's like, I love Reiki. Reiki is super powerful. I feel like theta healing is like that secret hidden weapon because a lot of people know about it, a lot of people don't. But like if you really, 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 really want to change some stuff, especially when you're doing like ancestral and generational type of work, I think theta healing is just an excellent place to really start figuring out like, why am I the way I am? Like once you've had a million birth chart and human design readings, then you're still like, but I thought I fixed this pattern and I thought I corrected it. That's because that's what you did. You corrected it. It wasn't yours. So we need to go back and maybe even forward and make some bigger shifts. So I think I love theta healing for that.
Yeah. And thank you for, it was in my own personal reminder. Joey had reminded me, which is why I mean, I do this all the time, right? So it's like, but I've noticed through like how many theta healing sessions I've done. And I was like, oh, I haven't done them in so long because I did do the shamanic path. I'm a shamanic practitioner too. So I was more focused on like the shamanic healing. Like it's very similar to that, just a
Mhm.
deeper level to the theta. And then I was like, maybe I don't need to keep doing shamanic rituals and healing and all that stuff. Cause like, and then I was in my own shit too. So it was like, and this was recent. So I was like, so then he's like, why don't you just do a theta healing session on yourself? And I was like, oh my goodness, you're right. Cause I cleared out that limiting belief. Like I got that out of the way. I did other sessions with other people too. Cause we can't see our own blocks, which is very normal. And when he had mentioned that, I was like, why didn't I think of that? But it was like, you're like what you just said. It's like you cleared it out. Now you just have to replace it, which is why when I did Reiki, I love Reiki. It's, I do love it. It's very healing. It works. But it was for me, it was like it cleared it out, but then there was nothing to replace it with. And it was like this not belief that could be like it could be replaced with. And I thought that it would be different. It's like this is what's working, but this is what I want to believe, or this is or where did it come from? It's like I don't believe that about myself. So like where is it coming from? So yeah, it's definitely, and I don't think people, like, nobody teaches us ancestral stuff. Nobody teaches us
And
that.
that's like part of, you can literally see it in my charts, my birth chart, my human design chart. Like it's so, life is funny and life is so lifey and interesting that it's literally a part of my journey to be doing what I'm doing right now and like talking about it, because I guarantee you people that listen to it are going to start having little things, those synchronicities click of like, oh, I wonder, like, oh, yeah, my mom used to, my grandma, or I never even met my great grandma, but my grandma told me that she used to do blah, 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 like certain behaviors. And I love with theta healing, when you're clearing things, you're clearing backwards and forwards 7 generations. So when I say, I'll say this in some of my content of like breaking generational curses.
Right.
I'm not saying I had a bad childhood and like my parents were not great or anything like that. Like I'm breaking things that my parents and my grandparents might not even be directly aware of because they're not doing this similar type of work. And I so agree with like a lot of places will teach you and different practices teach you how to clear out. But if you're not intentionally taking 2 more seconds to control what's coming back in, you're gonna get filled back in with something. Like we don't do empty, we don't do like holes in our aura and holes in our energy. So if you clear this aspect out and you're not calling the shots or even participating in what comes back in, you might end up a little worse off than you were before you cleared the thing that was top of mind out, because now, it's given room for something else to rise to the surface. It meets whatever the universe, whatever, you walked into next, and you're like, oh crap, I thought I was healed. And that's another reason why I went into like finding this word of spiritual guide, right? Like I don't really care for the word healer. I was having this conversation with a friend over the weekend. Like I don't, my personal beliefs, people can agree to disagree. I don't think there is a such thing as healed, past tense. I think that it's a constant as long as we're in this dimension, as long as we are living and breathing beings in this realm, that there's always going to be an opportunity. It doesn't matter how good your life is, how rich you are, how beautiful you are, how happy and successful and joyous. There's always going to be something, because that subconscious is so freaking big, that comes up, and all that changes is how you react to it and how you respond, and what is the energy that you now put out in the face of these situations. Because a whole bunch of people in your community and in your environment, work, online, whatever, they're not self-aware, they're not healing. People are going to trigger you. So like it doesn't feel good for me to call myself a healer, because like you were saying, I'm a guide, I'm a channel, I have been attuned to certain frequencies and energies, so I can tap into this stuff on your behalf. But I am not Reiki. Like I am not the end all be all of theta healing or astrology or anything. Like I'm bringing it to your awareness in a different flavor, and you do with it what you want, but like you're your own healer. So I really like, that was another reason like I struggled with the titles and like calling myself a coach and different, again, just things that just didn't, I was trying to stuff myself in these boxes because I paid these people a lot of money to like fix me and make me do this, make these 10K months and 90, my favorite is 100K in 90 days. That's my absolute favorite. But I hired these people for these reasons. So I want to get the results, and it just didn't work for me. And I had so much more work to do within myself. And like now I know that that's like my number next to my sobriety. Like my inner work is, they're like both tied for number one in my life, because if I'm not sober and if I'm not doing my inner work, I cannot be of service to anybody. Forget my business, forget my job, my kids, my life, my family. Like if those two things aren't syncing up properly, and if they're not top of mind for me, I'm not embodying who I'm here to be. And I learned the hard way not to play around with those things. So we get what we get through our life experiences and our lessons. And I'm grateful for like all the lessons. Like I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know so many people, had I not decided to start an online business and see what does this journey actually mean? I never even wanted to be an entrepreneur. That's the funny part. I was not a little girl that was like, I'm going to own my own business. I'm like, I like getting my check every 2 weeks and letting the CEO worry about the stuff. I never even wanted to be an entrepreneur, and now I love it more than most things. But it's a crazy journey if you're down for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's still, I definitely resonate what you said about, because I do call myself a trauma healer. But with that being said, going through, working with Allison, she was like, you need to be very specific about it. So I was like, okay, that could, I mean, obviously that could change when people ask like what I actually do. It's more of like I'm an intuitive human design business guide, because it's like that is basically what I use. Like that is how I help. Obviously there's trauma that gets in the way. Obviously, that's, but and it's like more of like I needed to focus on the multifaceted trauma, because some people don't have multifaceted trauma. So I don't, I could work with anybody really. I mean, the people that don't realize they have multifaceted trauma, maybe they're not ready to hear it, see it, whatever, own it. So
That
it's like,
part.
I'm not ready for you, So it's like, so I think for me, that's why I always just look at it as a guide, because I do see both sides of things. Like I
Mhm.
do see, you know, I always, that's why I still had to add guide in there. Because it's like, this is what I am. This is what I embody. Like in my human design, that's literally what I am, you know? So it's like, I can't, but I also am really good at seeing people's trauma and where it could be stuck. And it's like, I don't need a human design chart to see that. I can just see it and feel it in their voice and their energy. And it's like, let's do this. Forget human design, you know, let's go do this. This is, you know, that type of thing. So yeah.
And then that's the part of the attraction that is like the fun and mysterious part, I think. Like, yes, you have to be clear about who you are and what you do and who you serve. But if somebody booking their human design reading with you gets them in front of you so that you can then see, like,
Right.
that's really, and that's what it took me forever. You know, I'm hard-headed. It took me forever to learn that, like, you have to be clear about who you are, what you do, who you serve. Once the people get in front of you, then you can start, if the opportunity is right, talking about all the 5 bajillion ways you want to help them. But if you're truly intuitive, which everybody is, how tapped into to it or not they are, again, that's a whole other episode. But if you get that person in front of you and you're like, actually, do you mind if I give you some information on like what I'm picking up, 99% chance they're going to say yes. And how much more fun and authentic and transformative is that relationship now because we're who we are. I can already I know that you deliver above and beyond in a human design reading. Like I deliver above and beyond. I had somebody messaging me, I did a chart reading and she was like messaging me like 3 days later and she's like, "What about this?" And I love what I do so much. I'm not like, "Oh, I'm going to send you an invoice for this." I am just excited that you are falling in love with astrology just like I am. So it's that whole transference of energy. And like once you've called these people into your space, they are either going to like lock all the way in with you, or they might just be like, "Oh, yeah, no, I don't have multifaceted trauma." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, if you're human, you have trauma." But I am also like, if you don't believe you have trauma, cool, you don't. I have people in my life that as much as everybody sees how much I talk about astrology, I have people that are close to me in my life that are like, "I don't believe in astrology." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Okay,
yeah.
okay." I'm
Like,
also not here to sell you on astrology. The
yeah.
energy, what I can tell you 100% is the energy is going to keep energying you. And if and when you ever want to know why, call me.
Yes. Yeah. I love that you said that because for my whole life, I feel like when I came out of my mom, I like wanted to just teach everybody about whatever. And now it's like I realized through my, you know, my own experiences and journey, I'm like, I was trying to change people because I could see, like I could always see, and then I got, you know, it. I was always born with my gift, so it's like they got suppressed by my trauma. They got this, they got that. Like, and when I tell people, when it's funny because I'm like, that one breakup that you had when you were like 10, that's trauma. Like that gets stored in your subconscious and it creates a pattern and it's like all this stuff, and people are like, wow, I didn't think of that, or I didn't know that, or whatever, you know. So it's just like interesting. I think it's funny. Now it's just like, okay, whatever. I don't know
I
you.
think the funniest thing that I want to share that you said that, and I hope other people find this as amusing as me, but I was doing this money, it was like this money manifestation course, but this person, she's she's in Australia. She's one of the most legit money coaches. But I knew to get a money coach before I had money. Long story short, I'm doing this journaling exercise. I realized that my money trauma started when I was about, I don't know, 6 or 7. And I'm sure most people in America might be able to relate to this. Do you ever remember getting paid for getting good grades?
Yeah, or chores.
So it's there, it's still there. It
Yeah.
is in my subconscious. A's got me X amount of dollars. B's got me X amount of dollars. C's, I didn't get anything. D's, don't even think about it. F's, never brought one home until high school and whatever. Um, that conditioning, again, that's why I say I didn't, that doesn't mean that I had a bad childhood, but
Right.
that conditioning of this reward for performance has driven, and I'm not even mad about it. Like it made me who I am. It made me get to where I am in my career and have the guts to it made so many different aspects of me. But that little bitty act, that one activity I did in that one course literally cracked me up because I was just like, so my money trauma started when I was in kindergarten. Is that what you're telling me? And like so many people have those types of experiences where like you cannot make the shit up, right? Like you
Yeah.
mean to tell me you were a traumatized child about your report card? Like, yeah, boo, I was because I was getting paid for A's. So what did I do? I worked my ass off for A's so I could get the most amount of money. And that was how I learned to like work equals hard work equals reward. Reward is more money. If you want more money, you have to work harder. And those are like the first things that they tell you to break down when you get into entrepreneurship.
Yes. And I love that you say that. It's actually interesting because I literally wrote that in my journal when I was going through like the love with myself is like conditional, or it was conditional with myself because that was what reflected to me. I had to perform to be loved, all the things. Not saying that my parents are bad people. They raised me how they their own beliefs, and it was just poured into me instead of like breaking that curse or whatever. Not curse, it was just ancestral stuff, you know? So when you said that, it's literally something that I had wrote to myself about money. It was like that was an emotional block that I had about love. But there was the same thing that I had about getting good grades or getting paid for chores. That was like another thing that I remember writing in my journal too. So it was like if I perform, if I do work, that's when I get paid. But if I don't do anything, I don't get paid. And especially being a projector, we don't work all the time. So it's then we have this belief that like we're not doing enough, or it just all comes down to triggering my not enough wound. And I'm like, why do I constantly feel like I'm not doing enough? And that was the lesson, like what you literally just said, because I felt like this conditioning that I had to kind of uncover was because I wasn't doing enough. And it wasn't that. It was just something that I needed to switch and change and reprogram that just because I have a rest day or I'm not actually physically working in my business that day, that doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm not doing enough, because that's what I would tell myself like previously. But now understanding that, I wouldn't. It's
And
just
I'm the generator who was living as a manifesting generator, and that shit almost killed me
yeah,
because I'm not built to like, I can work a lot, but like until I knew that about myself, and somebody literally said it that plainly, they're like, oh, honey, you can't do that. Like, I was just like, yes, I can. I can do whatever I want to do. When I started working within my own energetic bounds, my dream is to work from like 3 to 5 days a week from like 10 to 2. I can absolutely change the world in 4 hours. I don't need 12, 15-hour work days. That is not how my energy, like it is so potent. When I'm on, I'm on. When I'm off, I'm off. But I had to start like putting rest time. I would put on my calendar, do nothing, because I saw my weekends as like, ooh, that's a whole day to go take a course, go learn something, go heal something. And I was running like, I think I went for like 45 days straight one year. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. And I was just running, running, running on autopilot. So, like, yes, rest is just as important as your productive time. And for some people, they need to rest more than others for different reasons. And it's like being able to and again, this is where the astrology and the human design giving you the information to make the best decisions that feel supportive for you and your life. Like that is why we guide people. That is what we guide people to do. Like that's it. That's all. We can get into all the trauma layers, we can get into all the subconscious layers, but like if you're listening to this and you take away one thing, it is
right,
take the information, keep what resonates, leave the rest of that shit. Fuck it. Leave it. Like nobody cares, nobody's gonna judge you. But if one piece of your chart, whether it's astrology, human design, if one part of a Reiki or a theta healing or any of the other modalities out there, if it works for you, hold on to it because like we need it.
right. Yes. Mic drop. We can just end there.
Done.
Now, how, Taylor, tell everybody, this will also be in the description box, but tell everybody how they can connect with you and how they can get into your world.
So, yeah, all of the things, right? So I probably spend more time on Instagram, but I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm trying with TikTok. I swear I feel so old when I try to get on TikTok, but I'm trying. But I do have a website. Best way is to literally just DM me or reply to my stories. I'm usually talking on my stories every day. But I am usually, I will say, I want to say always, but I'm accepting clients. So if you're curious about putting together or finding more out about my offerings or putting together a custom offering, I absolutely love to create. And I am in a collaboration where we are actually getting ready to launch a mystery school. And yes, if your eyebrows went up, you probably want to know more about this mystery school. But we're going to be working with I hate that they're categorized as the dark goddesses, but there's no light without dark.
Yeah.
So all the people that are all like, oh, it's all love and light. If that's your vibe, that you're probably not my vibe, but definitely message me on any of those platforms. It all comes to my phone and I will respond.
Yay. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode with Taylor on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with somebody that you feel that would gain knowledge from listening. Also, check out all of her links in the description box if you're listening to this, wherever you're listening to this, or if you're watching us on YouTube. So stay tuned for more captivating conversations in the future. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next time.